So here we have the statistics that we got during our interviews. So you can see that when the question of whether the interviewee supported Justice Kavanaugh's confirmation to the Supreme Court was asked by a male, in this case TJ, 13 out of the total 40 interviewees responded that they did support the confirmation. However, when the question was asked by a female, um, Ashley in this case, only 2 out of the 40 said that they did support the confirmation. And so, just by looking at this, we may assume that there is a significant difference, but obviously, in order to be sure, we have to go through the different assumptions. And so, to do that, we'll go on to the next slide. And so the first assumption is obviously random assignment. And in order to fulfill this, we use a random number generator to create a list of 80 zeros and ones in total, 40 of each. We assigned the zeros to Ashley and the ones to TJ. And basically, the order in which they appeared was the order in which Ashley and TJ would decide who was going to ask the person whom we approached. And this was kind of our way to ensure that everybody that we were asking was randomly assigned. And so moving on to the next category of assumptions is large population. So more than 10 times 40 of Highland Park students would could possibly support Justice Kavanaugh's confirmation, or to make it easier, 10 times 80, because there are around 4,000 students. So obviously 4,000 is greater than 800. So that assumption checks out. However, the last one, the normal sampling distribution, when we're measuring the amount of successes and failures in terms of the pi combined, which in this case was 15 over 80, we see that because the sample sizes are the same for both the sample size of the male and the female, which are both 40, we don't meet the assumption of at least 10 successes. We instead have 7.5. And this causes us to go and use a simulation, because a normal approximation is not appropriate. So when generating the simulation using StatKey, we can see that when doing a left tail test, because that's the direction in which we thought the alternative hypothesis would go, we see that there is a p-value of 0.025, which would show that this data is in fact significant.